Hey, English learners. Welcome back to the English Daily Podcast, your cozy place to learn simple English through real-life conversations, useful vocabulary, and gentle motivation. I'm John.
And I'm Sarah. It is so wonderful to be back with all of you today.
We are always happy to share this quiet time with you every week.
Absolutely. John, can I ask you a quick question?
Sure, though I have a feeling this question might be a bit embarrassing.
Maybe. When was the last time you made a mistake?
Today?
That fast?
Actually, right before breakfast, I accidentally sent a text to the wrong group.
Oh no. What happened? Did it cause chaos?
Luckily, it wasn't terrible, but I spent the next hour overthinking it, wondering how I could be so careless.
Interesting. Did anyone else keep thinking about it?
Probably not, just me.
I think that happens to a lot of people. We make one mistake and suddenly replay it all day long.
Sometimes all week.
Exactly. You keep reliving the moment in your mind.
And that ruins your focus for the rest of the day.
Exactly. And that is what we are exploring today. Why making mistakes might actually be one of the best things that can happen to us.
That sounds like a strange idea at first.
Maybe, but by the end of today's episode, I think you'll view mistakes in a completely new way.
And don't worry, this is a B1, B2 level episode. If you are an intermediate learner, it's tailor-made for you.
And if you are a strong A1 or A2 learner, don't worry either. You don't need to understand every single word. Just relax, listen, and enjoy the conversation.
Maybe you're out taking a walk, studying, driving home, or maybe you recently messed something up and can't get it out of your head.
If that sounds like you, this episode is especially for you. Let's get started.
Sarah, why do people hate making mistakes so much?
Because mistakes feel like failure.
Do they really?
Well, that's how it feels in the moment. When I make an error, I immediately tell myself I should have known better or done better.
I understand, but let me ask you, can you think of anyone who has never made a mistake?
No, not a single person.
Exactly. Not your teachers, not your parents, not successful leaders, nor your closest friends. Everyone makes mistakes.
Then why do I always feel like I'm the only one messing up?
Because we see our own mistakes clearly, but we rarely see everyone else's behind-the-scenes struggles. People usually share their wins, not their failures.
That's so true. Think about social media. People post their promotions, holidays, and big achievements, but very few post, "Today I completely failed."
Exactly. So we start assuming everyone else has life figured out, when in reality, they're stumbling and learning just like us.
We only see their high points while we live with all our low points.
It gives us a completely false picture of reality.
You know, I remember my first week learning English. I was terrified to speak.
Why?
Because I wanted perfect English and didn't want to make errors.
And did holding back help you?
Not at all. I actually started improving much faster once I began making mistakes out loud.
Exactly. Mistakes weren't holding you back, they were moving you forward. Think about a child learning to walk. Do they fall?
Hundreds of times.
Do we call that a failure?
Of course not. We call it learning.
Exactly. Somehow as adults, we forget that errors are still part of growth. We expect ourselves to get everything right on the first attempt.
Which is totally impossible.
Exactly. So maybe the problem isn't making mistakes. Maybe it's being afraid of them.
John, I think that's the perfect point to build on.
Sarah, there's one thing I'm wondering about.
What's that?
If mistakes are so crucial, why do they feel so painful?
Because our brains hate being wrong. We naturally want to avoid embarrassment and feel competent.
That makes sense. Nobody likes failing.
Of course not, but here is the interesting part. Stumbling and learning often happen at the exact same time.
Really? How so?
Think about learning to ride a bicycle. Did you fall over?
Plenty of times. My knees were always scraped up.
Did every fall teach you something?
Actually, yes, how to balance, how to turn, and how to stop properly.
Exactly. Each mistake gave you practical information. Without those stumbles, you probably wouldn't know how to ride today.
That's interesting. So a mistake is really just feedback.
Exactly. It's experience saying, try a different approach.
It shows you what doesn't work, so you can find what does work.
Precisely. It narrows down your path to success.
I've never looked at mistakes that way. Sarah, can you remember an error that actually changed your life for the better?
Yes. Years ago, I applied for a job I really wanted and prepped for weeks, but I didn't get it.
That must have been tough.
It was disappointing, and I felt like a failure. But looking back, that rejection pushed me to pick up new skills, and eventually I landed a much better opportunity.
So the mistake opened a better door for you.
Exactly. At the time, I couldn't see it, but now I'm actually grateful for it.
I think many listeners can relate to that. Sometimes life only makes sense when we look backward.
That's true. A mistake can feel like the end, but later you realize it was just the start of something better.
Let me ask you another question about language learning specifically.
Sure, go ahead.
Let's apply this to English. How many mistakes do you think someone makes before reaching fluency?
Thousands, maybe tens of thousands.
Exactly. Wrong tenses, awkward pronunciation, forgetting vocabulary words.
And every error teaches you something new.
Exactly. Imagine someone saying, "I'll only speak English once I stop making mistakes."
They'd probably never open their mouth.
Exactly. They would wait forever on the sidelines.
Fluent speakers aren't people who never made errors. They're simply people who never stopped practicing.
You know, I think we celebrate the final success, but ignore the journey that built it.
Nicely said. Every success has a hidden backstory of mistakes, practice, and persistence.
People only see the final result, not those hidden parts.
They see the fluent speech, not the countless awkward pauses along the way.
Can I share something I've realized?
Please do.
The learners who improve the fastest aren't necessarily the smartest. They're usually the ones who aren't afraid to make mistakes.
Really? Why do you think that is?
Yes, because they are willing to try, ask questions, and be beginners out loud.
That reminds me of a phrase. The only people who never make mistakes are the ones who never attempt anything new.
I love that, Sarah, because real growth always happens outside your comfort zone.
If you stay comfortable, you stay in the exact same spot.
So, Sarah, how do we stop fearing mistakes?
I think it starts by changing one core question.
Which question?
Instead of asking, did I mess up? Ask, what did I learn from this?
That's such a simple shift.
But it changes everything. One question brings shame while the other creates growth.
You know, after we recorded our very first podcast episode, I noticed so many things I wanted to fix.
Me too.
At first, I felt like we made so many mistakes, but then I realized those flaws helped us create much better episodes later on.
Exactly. If we had waited until we were perfect, we never would have launched this show.
We would still be sitting in an empty room planning.
That applies to life too. Waiting for perfection usually means waiting forever.
Exactly. Progress always beats perfection. Small daily improvements are far more powerful than waiting for one perfect day.
Every small step adds up over time to create massive results.
What would you say to someone who made a mistake today and can't stop replaying it?
I'd tell them, be kind to yourself. Take the lesson, leave the guilt, and try again tomorrow.
I love that line. Take the lesson, leave the guilt.
Because mistakes should be your teacher, not your permanent identity.
I think I've gained the biggest insight today. Making mistakes doesn't mean you're failing. It means you're learning, growing, and becoming better than yesterday.
Exactly. And that's something to be proud of.
And before we wrap up, I think it's time for my favorite section.
I knew that was coming. Let's explore today's useful vocabulary.
All right, this is where our English skills get stronger. Today's words are B2 C1 level, natural, practical, and great for daily use.
Let's dive in.
Our first word is resilient.
Ooh, I love that word. It sounds so strong. A resilient person recovers quickly from setbacks, mistakes, or hard times. They don't stay down for long.
So, being resilient doesn't mean you never fail. It means you keep going afterward. For example, she is incredibly resilient. After losing her job, she kept learning and found an even better one.
It's about bouncing back instead of giving up when things get hard.
Exactly. You bend, but you don't break.
I think every English learner needs to be resilient. Our second word is setback. A setback is a temporary problem or delay that slows your progress down. It doesn't mean the journey is over, it just means you need a different strategy.
Like failing an exam, it's a setback, not the end. For example, the team faced a small setback, but they kept pushing forward.
Exactly. It's temporary. It's just a speed bump on your road to success.
You slow down for a second, but then you keep driving forward.
Our third word is perseverance. This means continuing to work toward a goal even when things get difficult.
So if I practice English daily, even when I'm tired, that's perseverance. For example, her perseverance helped her become fluent in English. Success depends way more on perseverance than raw talent.
I completely agree. Talent can open a door, but perseverance keeps you walking down the path.
That is a great way to put it.
Our fourth word is adapt, which means to adjust or change your approach when facing a new situation instead of giving up.
Right. If one study method isn't working, you adapt and try another. For example, good learners adapt quickly when plans change.
Flexibility is super important when learning anything new.
If the front door is locked, you'd try the back window.
And our final concept today is growth mindset. It means believing that your skills and intelligence can develop through practice and effort.
So instead of saying, I'm bad at English, you say, I'm still learning English. For example, people with a growth mindset view mistakes as opportunities to learn.
That small word yet changes everything. I don't know this yet.
That is such a powerful mental tool for every single student.
Let's do a quick recap. Resilient, bouncing back after hard times. Setback, a temporary delay or challenge. Perseverance, keeping going when things are tough. Adapt, adjusting your approach when needed. Growth mindset, believing you can improve through effort.
Fantastic. Those words will help you talk about learning and growth like a confident speaker.
Before we sign off, remember this. Every expert was once a beginner. Every confident speaker once struggled with their very first sentence.
Don't be afraid to make mistakes. Be afraid of never trying. Next time you mess up, don't ask why me. Ask, what is this teaching me?
That's where true growth begins. One lesson and one step at a time.
You've been listening to the English Daily Podcast. Thank you for spending part of your day with us.
Keep learning, keep growing, and never let the fear of making mistakes stop you.
Remember, your English goals and your life goals are both closer than you think. See you in the next episode.
Bye, everyone. Take care.